I'll never forget the moment I turned off the county road and saw that flimsy paper plate nailed to my cedar post, the words scrawled in red marker, Community BBQ. For a split second, I thought it was a dumb prank, maybe some kids fooling around. But when I rolled up over the hill, my heart sank straight into my boots. My 6 acres, the place I had poured sweat money and years into, looked like a carnival ground. Tents pitched on my pasture, a 20-foot inflatable arch blocking my road with Maple Ridge Block Party written in bold letters, strangers splashing in my pool music thumping so hard it rattled my truck mirrors. And right there on my porch, in my Adirondack chairs, sat 3 adults and a teenager eating barbecue like they owned the place. I parked in the grass and stepped out of my truck, slow, steady, trying not to let the rage boil over too soon. A man in flip-flops lifted his beer at me like I was the mailman delivering bills. And then, like it was the cherry on top, I heard her voice. Linda Crawford, president of the Maple Ridge HOA. Khaki shorts polo with the HOA logo visor perched like a crown and a mojito in hand. She grinned as if I'd been expected. "Oh, Dan, we thought you were out until Monday," she said, clipboard tucked under her arm like a scepter. "This whole section was approved on the expansion map. Congratulations, your land's officially part of the community green zone." I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. "Linda, this is my private property. Recorded deeds, surveyed lines, GPS markers. I built every post on this fence myself." She didn't flinch, just sipped her drink and smiled sweetly. "You must not have read the covenant revisions," she said. "Your signature's on file." That's when I realized this wasn't some mix-up. This was a setup, a deliberate con dressed up in paperwork. I called the sheriff. 15 minutes later, a cruiser pulled up past the inflatable arch. Deputy Ruiz stepped out, looking already defeated. I showed him my deed, the GIS maps, the plat markers, even pointed to the stone corner marker I cemented years ago. Linda handed him her stack of documents with a flourish and expansion proposal with my name in neat cursive across the bottom. My signature, but not mine. Ruiz scratched the back of his neck. "This looks like a civil matter," he muttered. Then, as if it couldn't get worse, he said they'd gotten a report that I was seen carrying a shotgun when I arrived. I stared at him blankly. It never left my truck. He asked me to keep calm. And I did. On the outside. Inside, though, I was plotting war. That night I didn't sleep. I sat at my kitchen table, surrounded by every scrap of property documentation I had ever kept. Deeds, surveys, plat maps, GPS overlays, even receipts for the fence posts. I knew someday someone would try something, but this was fraud. Full-blown brazen fraud. So the next morning I went to the county clerk's office. Denise, the clerk, didn't even look surprised. "Maple Ridge has been filing a lot lately," she said as she typed. "Rezoning requests, environmental grants, boundary expansions." Then she pulled up my parcel. A scanned PDF popped onto the screen. Consent for inclusion. My name, my parcel number, my supposed signature. A letter attached allegedly from me saying I supported donating my land for community use. The words were sticky sweet, nothing like the way I write. I printed 5 copies, my hands shaking with fury. Turns out Linda had cooked up more than forged papers. She'd created a non-profit, the Maple Ridge Green Space Trust, registered with her cousin as president. They'd already bagged a $50,000 grant from the city for ecological education programs, money they used for bounce houses and DJs. My property was drawn in cheerful green on their map labeled Public Green Belt. My backyard, my barn, my water supply turned into picnic ground by a lie. For the next week, the harassment ramped up. A letter taped to my mailbox. "You're dividing this community. If you keep making trouble, someone might call animal control about those poor horses." No signature. My trail cam caught teenagers in HOA t-shirts lighting fireworks near my corral. "Hank." My horse panicked and nearly tore through the garden. Then came inspectors from zoning, environmental oversight, code enforcement, each waving bogus complaints. I saw what Linda was doing. She wanted to bury me in paperwork to wear me down until giving up seemed easier. That's when I changed tactics. I hired an independent surveyor, no local ties, to remap my land with drones and GPS. I also wired up new trail cams with cloud backup motion sensors and timestamps. And then I called Marvin, an old friend and private investigator. He sent me Riley, a corporate intelligence consultant who knew how to slide into places quietly. Her cover A representative from a sustainability investment firm interested in partnering with ambitious HOAs. Linda took the bait immediately. At a downtown cafe, Riley met Linda while I sat nearby pretending to sketch floor plans. Riley asked casually, "How do you deal with reluctant landowners?" Linda laughed, lowering her voice like she was sharing a secret. "Sometimes you just file the paperwork. People think land ownership is sacred, but it's just signatures. Whoever controls the file cabinet wins." She bragged about the nonprofit. The grants even joked that stubborn owners like me never push back hard enough. Riley's necklace camera caught it all. In Colorado, one-party consent is all you need. With that footage in hand, I hired a bulldog attorney named Frank Daly, a property rights litigator who lived for cases like this. He called Linda's little speech a perjury grenade. We filed suit, fraud, forgery, trespass, conspiracy, property damage. We subpoenaed zoning officer emails, financial records, nonprofit filings. And when the news aired, my friend Devin from KRCH Denver ran the footage. Linda's smug grin was plastered all over TV saying, "Does it matter if he signed? It's filed." The public backlash was brutal. Court was even better. The forensic document examiner showed how my signature had been cut and pasted from an old easement form. The surveyor testified to the exact GPS-tagged boundaries. A whistleblower board member turned over minutes where Linda said, "If he sues, we'll bury him in paperwork." The state grant investigator traced 20 grand of public money straight to her cousin's shell company. And then came the insurance adjuster testifying about the damages to my pool fences and pastures. Piece by piece, Frank laid out the story like a murder board. When the jury watched the hidden cam footage, Linda shifted in her chair like the seat had caught fire. Gasps filled the courtroom when she smirked. "Whoever controls the file cabinet wins." 2 hours later, the jury came back unanimous, liable on all counts. Fraud, trespass, forgery, conspiracy. Damages awarded $140,000. But the real blow came after. The judge referred her for criminal prosecution. 2 weeks later, neighbors filmed as deputies led her out of her house in handcuffs, robe hanging loose, no clipboard in sight. She pled guilty to forgery, fraud, and misuse of funds, got a suspended sentence, a year of house arrest, restitution, and a lifetime ban from any HOA leadership. The Maple Ridge HOA board dissolved shortly after. Her cousin skipped town. The zoning officer quietly resigned. The whole rotten structure crumbled. As for me, I rebuilt and fortified. Steel core posts in my fences, GPS plaques etched in metal motion sensors across the perimeter. My new sign reads, "Private property, not HOA land. Trespassers will be tracked and shamed. Folks driving by honk their approval." My horses graze in peace again. And strangely, people started showing up at my gate not to party, but to ask advice. Neighbors from other counties, homeowners tired of their HOAs pushing too far, asking how to protect their land, how to fight back. I didn't set out to be anyone's hero, but I guess once you stand your ground, folks notice. Looking back, I realize it was never just about my 6 acres. It was about principle, about not letting someone redraw your life with a fake map and a forged signature. My grandfather left me this land. I built my house and my fences with my own hands, and no one, No neighbor with a clipboard or a smile gets to claim it because their paperwork says so. I stood my ground, and I'll keep standing it because if you don't, someone else will decide it belongs to them. So tell me, what do you think? Was Linda just power hungry, or was she trying to play a bigger game? Have you ever dealt with an HOA or neighbors who crossed the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your stories, and let's talk about where the line should be drawn between community and control.